Distorted Fate, written by Sylvac. Chapter 3, Rant and Flight. The news that Pinkie Pie and the Cake family would be watching over the lost filly until her family was found worried Nurse Redheart due to how calm the filly behaved and how Pinkie Pie was so Pinkie Pie. However, before she could confront the party pony, Pinkie had already checked in with the clerk and made her way to the filly's room. Arriving back at the door to the filly's room, Nurse Redheart cautiously opened the door as she beheld the sight before her.
So much fun at Sugar Cube Corner, that's where I live, by the way. Mr. and Mrs. Cake, and their twins, Pound and Pumpkin Cake. Oh, you love playing with the twins, I know you would, and when we get you'll be having a special treat that I know that you would love.
Pinkie Pie jabbered on, mere inches away from the filly's own face, whose ears were splayed back as her left eye twitched, showing that she was clearly not enjoying the attention she was receiving. Spotting Nurse Redheart's entrance, the filly turned her head towards her as she pleaded in her foreign language, distress clear in her voice. While unable to understand what the filly said, Nurse Redheart did know from the filly's expression that she wanted the stream of words being poured into her face to stop.
Miss Pie, maybe you should give the young filly some room. I know you're excited, but I don't think the filly is comfortable with you being that close to her right now.
Nurse Redheart interjected, interrupting Pinkie's rant to the filly's relief.
But I wanted to tell her all the fun things we're going to do together when we get home,
Pinkie Pie said as she turned her head towards the nurse, her lips pouting.
I understand your enthusiasm, but don't you know that the filly doesn't understand equestrian? She only seems to speak in that foreign language of hers.
Gasping in surprise, Pinkie turns her head back to the filly and said,
You don't speak equestrian? Does that mean you didn't understand what I just told you?
The filly just sat on the bed, giving Pinkie an annoyed glare after being yelled at point blank again.
Now, Miss Pie, you need to calm down so we can get you to sign the paperwork so that you can take the filly home,
Redheart said, at which Pinkie Pie realized that the sooner that was done, the sooner she and the filly could have fun together. This led to her grabbing the filly and rapidly depositing her on her back before bouncing after the nurse as the filly tried to comprehend what had just occurred. Soon the duo reached the front desk where Pinkie Pie started happily signing the paperwork as the filly realized where she was. I can't believe that they would let such a blabbermouth inside a medical facility. I mean, aren't these kinds of places supposed to be quiet? I thought to myself as I learned that I was now in the lobby again, with me being on the Pink Menace's back somehow. It was amazing that the creature was able to spew so many words out of its mouth without even taking a breath. Didn't these creatures suffocate when they couldn't get enough air? Wait, did the species even need to breathe at all? After testing the question out by holding my own breath, only to find out that this species does need to breathe, I spotted the Pink Menace busily signing off what appeared to be paperwork. Deciding that now was the time for me to make my escape, I carefully slipped off the creature's back and slowly crept towards the front door before I was blocked by the white-coated female. Looking up at it, I saw it shaking its head before pointing at myself then to the Pink Menace. After taking a few moments to figure out what it meant, I exclaimed,
You want me to go with that pink monster? Are you insane? She needs to be committed or at least get some therapy of some sort.
Before I could add more to my rant, I felt a nudge at my side. I turned my head to see the pink monster giving me that eerie smile before it began to bounce towards the front door. Looking at the white-coated female once more, I only saw it nod its head before pointing at the Pink Menace again. Releasing a sigh, I saw no other choice but to follow the monster. All the while, I plotted my means of escape. After stepping out of the building, I kept my eye on the doors, waiting for them to close fully before looking at the pink monster again. Seeing it keeping its bouncing pace, I finally saw my chance as I instead dashed down the closest alley as fast as I could without tripping. My flight lasted for a good 5 minutes before my new body finally screamed for a break as I stopped beside metal containers in some alley to catch my breath before releasing a sigh of relief that I had escaped from the Pink Menace, until I suddenly heard a familiar voice ringing out. As my eyes widened, I turned my head to see the pink monster's face looking at me with that same eerie smile like this is some grand joke or something. How could it find me so fast? I made certain that I fled when it couldn't see me. I thought to myself as my mind raced with ideas on how to make my escape again. As desperation took hold of me, I simply went with the most ridiculous action that came to my mind as I pointed a hoof at the other end of the alley as I yelled,
Look at that!
Amazingly, the pink monster actually fell for it as it turned her head to find out what I was pointing at, to which I made my escape once more, dashing away out of the alley to go into a different one. I zigzagged in and out of the alleys between the buildings, doing my best to make such a random path that the pink monstrosity wouldn't be able to track me down again, finally coming to a stop in an alleyway far away from the one I left the pink menace in. I hid behind some brown object that I assumed was some kind of box in this world based on its appearance. After catching my breath, I looked around again, this time not spotting any signs of the pink female. Releasing a gasp of relief, I sank down onto my bottom to rest as I planned out my next step, only for the box to suddenly open with the pink monster's head popping out as it said something in its language in an insane manner. Under normal conditions, a surprise like this would have me reeling in shock or lashing out instinctively at whatever surprised me, but for the moment, another matter kept my mind busy instead as I tried to comprehend how the creature was able to come out of the box when I did not detect it approaching. Before I could make any sense of that, another thought came to my mind, one that stopped it dead in its tracks. That thought was, how did it even fit in a box that is smaller than itself? Pinkie Pie kept her joyful smile on as she watched the filly's eyes glaze over from the illogical realizations that came to her mind as her mouth just gaped at Pinkie. Waiting for a while, the filly's mind refused to come out of its stupor, causing Pinkie to wave a hoof in front of the filly as she said,
Hello? Are you alright?
Seeing no response, Pinkie just assumed that the filly was tired from playing their little game as she picked up the filly with her hooves before placing the filly on her back once more. As she continued heading to Sugar Cube Corner, the filly finally broke out of her trance only to look at her hooves as she remembered the pink pony using her own hooves to pick her up. Looking around, the filly managed to catch a few sights of other ponies using their hooves to pick up stuff, or some using whatever object they had on hoof. Looking at her own hooves, the filly curiously muttered something to herself in response to what she just witnessed. Turning her head around to look at the filly, Pinkie Pie asked,
What was that?
only to receive a scowl from the filly, though that didn't bother Pinkie at all. She just gave the filly a smile before looking forward again, her bounce not losing a single bit of her enthusiasm. Soon the duo reached Sugar Cube Corner as the filly's jaw dropped as she took in the sight of the gingerbread-style building.
Who the fuck designed this huge-ass eyesore?
I said out loud, beholding a building that stood out like a sore thumb in this quiet hamlet. Compared to the buildings beside it, its design just screamed weird as my mind pondered about who in their right mind would build such a thing. My pink tormentor cheerfully said something to me, apparently believing that I could understand her joy as it bounced to the front door, opening it before heading inside. Oh God, please don't tell me I'm gonna have to live in this atrocity of a building, I thought to myself before I was finally put down by the pink warden. Before me, I saw two more creatures. One was a yellow-coated orange-maned male that was wearing some kind of outfit, possibly a uniform of some sort. The other was, whoa! I suddenly had to jump back as the other one, a rather large blue-coated female, charged me, its forelegs open as if it was about to hug me. I wasn't feeling the desire to be crushed today as I kept my distance from the blue female despite its attempt to hug me. I didn't think these creatures could be so big as I observed it finally releasing a sigh of defeat. Why was there so much pink in this place? I heard the blue female say something with a sad face as I saw disappointment shine from her eyes. The yellow male approached the blue female as it said something in its own language as it rubbed a hoof on the blue female's back to calm it down. Turning its head to me, it asked something else to me, to which I simply stared back at it, not even bothering to say anything, as I figured that it was pointless to even try since we obviously wouldn't be able to understand one another, which caused the male to tilt its head in confusion from the lack of an answer. Thankfully, my pink tormentor seemed to intervene as it said something to the pair which caused them to release a gasp of realization. As they looked at me with what appeared to be newfound understanding, I heard behind me the sounds of joyful giggling. Turning my head around to find the source of the noise, my eyes caught the sights of a new horror.
Oh, no.
I squeaked out as I saw before me two more creatures, both even smaller than me, in what appeared to be diapers. As the realization that I'm going to be forced to live with the pig menace in a horrendous looking house with a pair of young infants that appeared to be twins struck me, my body couldn't make any sort of reaction beyond the release of a whimper of sheer terror. Well guys, here you have another chapter of this sort of fate. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button and subscribe. And in other news...
Ja,